Hello coders, welcome back to our channel. Today we are diving into the dynamic world of Angular, and specifically we are going to talk about how to retrieve values from checkboxes in Angular. Now, if you are an intermediate coder, this video is going to take your skills to the next level. We are not just going to explain the concept, but we are also going to through real world use cases to make sure you are fully equipped to handle any situation in your projects. So let's get started. Right. So here we are with our simple Angular project. You can see the basic setup on my screen. We have simple Angular application with the app component with the hello world that is currently running in my browser. Now let's talk about checkboxes. Getting their values might seem tricky, but once you know how, it's actually pretty straightforward. Checkboxes in Angular use the ng model directive for two-way data binding. That's how we are going to extract their values. So let's see it in action. First of all, in order to use ng model directive, make sure you have imported the forms module in your module where you have declared your component where you are trying to use the ng model directive. Now let's create a checkbox in our HTML file and bind it to the isChecked property in our Angular component. So for that, I will remove everything and create an input with type press enter. And now I will add ng model, and in double quotes I will pass the property that I will create shortly in my TypeScript file. So let's do that. Open the app.component.ts, run all of the other code, and here I will add is checked is equal to false. All right, now let's look at this here in browser. Right now you can see a checkbox. This is a checkbox, and it is unchecked right now because we have the is checked property false. If you set it to true, then it will become checked. You can also change this value with the help of button as well. So for example, if I create a button, we will change the value is checked on click. Now you will see that actually I will use toggle, so it will reverse the current value of this property. So whatever it is right now, it will reverse it. So for example, if it is checked, then it will make it false and so on. So let's see. You can see if I click it selected, and if I click it again, then it unselected because of the value is being reversed. Now let's move to our next use case. So we will have an array in our component that keeps track of all selected email IDs. So for that, let's create the selectives. So we have a div, and in that div we will have ng for loop that will iterate on the emails that we will create shortly, and we will also get the current index of every iteration so that we could use it. Now I will create the input. We will use ng model again. Make sure to add round brackets as well to make it two-way binded. And now we will pass a property selected emails, and this would be an array that I will define shortly. So I will pass the index. So now here I will show the email subject. All right, now I will create the missing variables. Remove this one. First we need the email property, emails, and in the array we will have id 1. This is going to be array of objects, so create id string id 1. Next, we need to create the next missing property, that is selected emails. So let's define that as well in our app component. It is going to be an empty array by default. Now I will print the value of the selected email here with the help of JSON. pipe. So this will print the content of this JSON array. So now you will see I'm selecting and it is showing true, true, true. So if I select unselect one of those, then it will mark it false. For example, I selected first and last, so it set null to to these two checkboxes positions. So this is happening because we are passing the index. So in this way, we can show the selected emails subjects as well. So I will create a getter. Here use the get, and here we will return the emails filter, and it will return only those emails who are selected, which are selected in the selected emails. So let's see. So we are getting index. Now I will get the element on that index in the selected emails, and I will check if it is not null, or if this is truly, then we will consider it. Otherwise we will not. If it is null, then it will not select that element in the filter iteration. And now we can use this getter here and will display the subjects. I will use another div, and here I will add ng var let subject of subjects, and here I will have h2 tag, and we will display the subject, and the return type would be any array. Okay, let's see. Right now you can see there are no subjects visible in this, but if you select subject 4, then that subject is visible. Right? So if you unselect any of these, then that would be unselected as well. Alright, in the next use case, we will implement the form validation. We will disable the submit button unless the checkbox is checked. So let's do that. I will remove all of this data and we will create it from scratch. I'm going to remove it. And now, first of all, I will define a property. Terms form is equal to the type would be form group. And then I will define a constructor. In that constructor, we will initialize the value of terms form with the form builder. I will inject the form builder, and now we will use this .fp.group, and we will define the properties that we want to add. We want to add terms accepted, and default value is false, and the validation is that it is required. So make sure to import the validator like I did here, and we will use .required validator, so that if you miss this property, then it will invalidate your form and it will not allow you to go to the next level. And anyways, now we will use this validation in the HTML. In the HTML, I will create a form, and in the form, I will add form group and add term form. We're getting error because we are using form group, that is the part of the reactive form. So in order to use reactive form, you also have to import the reactive forms module. Make sure to import it here as well. And now the error has gone. Now I will define my input and button, and in the checkbox I will add form control name, and then I will use the same property name that I defined here. So make sure to use the same spellings, and now add the button with type submit and it should stay disabled if form is not valid. Okay. All right. So this is the I accept terms checkbox. So it should not allow you to submit if you did not accept the terms. Okay, right now it is enabled. So for example, if you just add true here, the form is disabled. So this is how it should work. So it is saying that, let me see the value of the form that we have. Okay, right now it is false, and it is considering it that it is valid, because you can see it is true. So we have to fix that. So instead of using required, we will use required true. So now you can see that submit button is disabled, and because it is not true yet. So if you select on that, the submit button will be enabled again. So this is how you can use it. We will implement next use case, that is to select all functionality. We will create a select all checkbox which should check or uncheck all of the other checkboxes. So for that we need to, I will first of all get rid of this code in HTML, and in the TS I will create two properties. One is items. This will have object of array with ID and item. Okay, now I will have another property that is, actually we don't need that property. We just need to have a function that is select all, and then we will use this dot items dot for each item, and then if we call this function, this will set a property is checked on every element of this items array that would be true. So for example, item dot is checked is equal to true. I will add type any array so that we don't get any TypeScript error. All right, now here I will create my HTML. My first input is type checkbox, and then we'll have ng model, and then the value will be the all selected. We have to define this property as well here. So by default its value is false, and as this is now ng model, we can use change property on it, and we will call a function select all, and now we will generate our dynamic checkboxes by using ng for loop. And in this div I will define my checkbox, and then I will add the ng model, and in the ng model we will use item dot is checked property. So in this way we are binding our checkbox with this property of the object of this array. And then here I will have the title. Now let's see how it works. And here I will have a text select all. Okay, if you click on that, you can see it will select all of the checkboxes, but it should unselect them as well. So we will have to create that function as well. So here I will change the function name to I will select all, and let's see. I will rename this function, and here I will check this value. So whatever value is for this property, it will be set to the is checked property. So if it is false, if you click on that, it will be true. If you click on that, it will be false again. So let's try it. So you can see we can select and unselect all of the checkboxes with the help of one single checkbox. Next use case is that we will implement dependent checkboxes. Checking one checkbox might enable or disable others. So let's do that. I will delete all of my code again, and this time I will have two properties: master checked is equal to false and slave checked is equal to false. Now I will create a function master change, and this time I will check if this dot master checked is false, then we will select this dot slave checked is equal to false. Okay, so now I will go to the HTML and create two input fields box, and there I will have ng model. This ng model will be binded with the master checked property, and we will trigger the change event. We will capture the change event, and on that event we will call a function master change, and we will show the text master after it, and then I will create another checkbox, and this time this will be binded with the slave checked, and here I will use the disabled directive. It would be disabled if master checked is not checked. So if this input checkbox is not selected, then it will be disabled. So it will be enabled only if this main checkbox is selected. So let's try it. Right now you can see that the second slave checkbox is disabled, but if you select the master checkbox, then slave checkbox will be enabled. Now you can select them or unselect. If you unselect the master, then the slave checkbox will be disabled again. And there you have it. We have covered several real-world use cases for getting checkboxes values in Angular. So practice these scenarios to fully understand the concepts. If you found this video helpful, do like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more coding tutorials. See you next time. Goodbye.